Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Mitch, and this is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown podcast. And over speakerphone, I have the very talented Eric James. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Fabulous, fabulous. Eric, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Eric, so I first saw you perform at an open mic at Wusso's, and you were under the name King Garbage at the time. You did guitar and some music and some poetry. You were kind of well versed in your time slot there at the open mic. Let's dive in.
Okay. Yeah.
How did it get started?
Oh, let's see. That is a good question. I think the whole King Garbage thing came about as I had just graduated from a Metropolitan State University degree in creative writing. So I was kind of also looking for an outlet for actually exercising my writing chops there. And then it was just one summer I just bought like a guitar at Music Go Round there in Duluth on the hill for like $60 and just started playing it. The name King Garbage itself originated from me working at a coffee shop and just being really good at grabbing the garbages first thing in the morning. So I kind of like just threw that name at me and I kind of just like picked it up and rolled with it for a while.
Very interesting story. Usually King Garbage isn't really a namesake people want to gravitate to, but
Yeah, that's true.
it sounds like you kind of picked it up and turned it into something. And now, Eric, your music is actually up on SoundCloud. I took a listen to some of your tracks. They're very insightful and they really perpetuate a story and kind of keep that flow going. But now you're known as Eric James and the Revolution. Is that kind of a hat off to Prince a little bit?
It's more of a Patti Smith reference than anything, but Prince definitely is part of it. There's that line in People Have the Power. There's a line about revolution in that song that, I love that song and I gravitate towards Patti Smith a lot. So in changing from King Garbage to Eric James Revolution, it was just kind of like, oh, this is like a revolution, personal revolution, going from the old into the new kind of thing. So kind of had a thematic fit with it as well.
Excellent, excellent. Can we talk about King Garbage a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Even though now that you're Eric James. So King Garbage, kind of what was your platform with that? I mean, you said that you had graduated from a university and came over here to Duluth, and you were kind of looking for an outlet more for your artwork and poetry. What was King Garbage's kind of stance on things?
King Garbage is very angsty. For sure. There's definitely like a folk punk thing going on there.
Okay, interesting.
But mainly it was kind of just, I think a lot of what like punk music and folk music is about is you have like a lot of that angst and anger that needs a kind of voice, or you have like a bunch of bottled up feelings that need to get out there. So there's the catharsis of it. And then King Garbage was also very much about me just being downtown Duluth every night, just seeing like people experiencing homelessness. And King Garbage kind of really became hey, people, pay attention to like the people sleeping on the street sort of thing.
I follow you on Facebook as well, and I've been seeing your posts about the homelessness and the Homelessness Bill of Rights. Is that something that you really feel a draw to, is kind of give the voice to the voiceless?
To a certain extent. I mean, I remember just when I first started like walking downtown Duluth, I would see signs posted in stairwells that were just like sleeping in the stairwell is a fine punishable by like $1,000 fine or up to 90 days in jail. And that part of the brain just clicks. It's like, well, if you're got no place else to go, chances are you don't have $1,000.
Right.
You can't afford like 3 months in jail. Yeah, I think it was giving voice to the voiceless and just being frustrated about the state of things and trying to figure out what it is I could do to make a better impact.
Right. And how far did King Garbage get with his impact? Did you turn any bills into laws or anything?
No, nothing like that. I think I got more people interested in the homeless person's Bill of Rights, which was a nice little thing. Definitely, I think there's a few people got turned on to it because of me. A good feeling.
Good, of course. So what brought about this kind of change? Just a gradual kind of change in yourself, or a change in your art direction?
I would say, yeah, it's a change in self, change in art direction. King Garbage wasn't necessarily like the most talented guitar player or singer by far.
Okay.
With like Eric James and everything, there is a significant jump, I would say, in terms of like what I actually can do and produce in terms of sound. My new album, Universe Point, it's like I'm still geeking out to it when I'm listening to it, just to make sure it sounds right and everything.
Fabulous. Yeah, the art never really leaves us. We always
Yeah.
find things that we can make better. Let's talk about your process a little bit. Now kind of jumping into Eric James and the now. So now you have an album out. Was that kind of self-produced? Did you DIY that?
Oh yeah, pretty much it's 100% DIY. I had some help with a friend in Burnsville using his equipment to record on, and he helped master it a bit more. But otherwise, yeah, everything on there is arranged and produced by me.
Perfect. What kind of equipment did you use? Was it a microphone on a laptop or your phone?
I was using his home computer system. He had some production software on there, and then I had just recently bought it was the Cube mini amp, and I was able to like plug that in and use one of his pieces of equipment because he's also in a band, and just add all these different effects and everything onto there, get different guitar sounds, different vocal styles going on. It was very fun to make it. I can't get over how enjoyable it was to see what I could do when I had 3 weeks to sit down and just mess around with all these different tools and toys.
Fabulous. So it sounds like you did your own mastering too.
Yeah, that probably left a little be desired. There's a few technical issues with the record I have, but ultimately it's just like a learning process. Next time I'll make sure not to make those same errors again.
Well, it sounds good to me. You're perfectly fine. Especially for a DIY project, you did very well. Let's talk a little bit about your lyric content. Do you kind of tend to pull from real life, or do you kind of create characters and scenarios?
It's definitely, I think it's always going to be a mixed bag, but definitely leans more towards pulling from own experiences. Sometimes I want to do more I want to do more character-driven stuff. I have some songs that are about characters and try and follow that folk song structure of telling a story about somebody kind of thing. But for the most part, I'm pulling from experiences.
Now, you're self-taught on guitar and vocals, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Wonderful. So is that kind of more pulling from that punk aspect of do-it-yourself?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, no matter how much I change, I think the whole punk part of me is always going to be there because that's what gave me the confidence to go out and perform in the first place, really. It's silly about being the best singer or the best guitar player, but having something to say and the courage to say it.
Yes, that's definitely a punk aspect. I remember watching a interview with Green Day, and they said punk music is supposed to be messy, and it's supposed to have a message behind it. And it definitely sounds like you've hit that right on the nose, sir.
Oh. Well, shucks. Well, thank you.
So now it kind of sounds like you have a new album in the works. Can we talk about that a little bit, or is it still kind of hush-hush?
Oh, no, it's pretty much out there everywhere now. It's Universe Point.
Okay.
12 songs, and I originally released it through DistroKid and all the streaming platforms back in March. Now I've got physical copies of it, and it's pretty much everywhere online you can think of.
How has the response been to that?
It's picking up steam. I've heard a lot of few more constructive criticisms of it. But yeah, overall, I'm entirely satisfied with it. It's, like I said, the favorite thing I've made to date.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now, Eric, you also do poetry as well. Did that come about just as another platform to express yourself?
I mean, yeah, I've always gravitated towards poetry in high school. We had a poetry publication yearly that I was in a couple times, and I've always just, whether it's songwriting, whether it's poetry or fiction writing, there's something about writing that I gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm. And you said you went to college for creative writing as well. And now,
yes.
With that degree, I mean, does that mean that you can write novels or just kind of express yourself in a written word?
I mean, yeah, I attempted the novel writing thing before, but as you can see with my lack of novel, that hasn't panned out very well.
You still have time.
Yeah, you can do anything with it in terms of writing, whether it's songs or stories. Everything kind of needs some form of writing if you're trying to tell a tale. and perform something.
So, Eric, what brought you up to Duluth?
Well, let's see. I was from this area originally, not Duluth per se, but born in Hibbing, grew up around the Northland. When I was like 14, I moved to the cities. And when I graduated college, it was kind of just like I was sleeping at a friend's couch, didn't have anywhere to go, and there was an empty farmhouse up on some family property. So I'm like, I'm hightailing it up north.
Wonderful. And it sounds like you really gravitated towards Duluth and you've been here ever since.
Oh, I definitely have. The music scene in Duluth was absolutely crucial in my mid-20s right there.
Fabulous. And now I've always heard, and through my own experience as well, that the Duluth music scene is very welcoming. It can get a little nichey at times. Was that your experience too?
Yeah, I would say so. People were very friendly, but then it seemed like everybody has had their own circles that they run around in. So unless you kind of become best friends with everybody, it's kind of like hard. It is very, very, what do you say? What was the word you used again?
Nichey.
Yeah, nichey. Very nichey.
I can attest to that, sir. The theater people don't really hang out with the music people, and then the one cafe music people don't hang out with the other cafe music people. It's it's too much to keep track of. I just say, hi, how's it going, and move on, you know?
Yeah.
So, do you have any other projects in the works? Any kind of collaborative things going on?
A few things I'm thinking about right now is I'm going to take all the songs I have about people. I have about 5 or 6 songs that are exclusively about people experiencing homelessness. So I'm going to put that into an album and then use all the proceeds from that to donate to like local nonprofits in the region. Besides that, I kind of do want to go over, when I was still going as King Garbage, I released a demo called Raccoon Heart. Now that I feel my music chops are better, I really want to go back and like redo the vocals on that again. Re-release that one.
Raccoon Heart, it was called?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How did that title come about?
Oh, that was definitely, that's the essence of King Garbage right there. If there's a mascot animal that represents King Garbage, it's a raccoon with a crown on top of his head.
Fabulous. I can see the artwork now. Excellent. And Eric, you are also a painter as well. I was scoping out your website prior to this interview. Was painting just another way for you to express yourself, or did you kind of fall into that?
Definitely. I think for me, communicating with people is hard to a certain extent, so pretty much all the art forms have always just been something I can like dedicate hours of time to like just try and express myself in any way possible pretty much.
What are your paintings kind of about? Do they have a theme at all, or is it just kind of in the moment?
Oh, it's vast majoritively like portraits of like musicians and artists I admire. There are other things here and there, times cartoon characters or things like that. I don't really have what I think a lot of visual artists have, which is that ability to just like close your eyes and like see something and paint it. I'm usually working from like still images most of the time.
Okay, and then you put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, great art is stolen and not borrowed.
I like that.
I heard that a long time ago and it just kind of resonated with me. So now I just use it all the time. Like, if somebody steals my artwork, well, it must have been good then. Eric, fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me about your album and the things that you've got going on. It kind of sounds like King Garbage is still there a little bit in the Eric James revolution. Have you?
Definitely. I don't think King Garbage is going to go away completely, but yeah, going to keep him around for a while still.
Right. Wonderful. Eric, can we talk a little bit about your musicianship?
Sure, yeah.
Perfect. And now you had said that you were really a self-taught kind of vocalist and guitarist. Now, your vocals are pretty darn unique, actually. You've got a little bit of that kind of Nirvana punk grit going on, but then this really kind of soulful, and like you said earlier, Patti Smith kind of resonates through that. Is that something that you've always wanted to do with your vocals and your lyrics, or has that just kind of come about through time?
I think I've always wanted to do it because I have been thinking about that a lot, and one of the big issues I had at open mics was when I was singing, I would always switch between like tones and intonations and different like voices essentially. So it kind of just sounded like a mix mash. And when I was able to sit down and do the album, I was really able to like separate those voices almost as if it was like different people coming in on the album to sing. That was really interesting to me because then it was like, oh, I saw this theatrical thing where I could literally be different characters on the same album.
Nice. So, did you do some harmonies with yourself or a completely different story?
Oh yeah, it was harmonies with myself. So the whole universe point concept in general was like a concept album about different versions of me from parallel universes colliding and meeting at this point in space and time called a universe.
The universe point. Interesting. Very cool. So, it's almost like you took this philosophical, starry kind of point with the album. Very cool. Is that something that you wanted to do with this album, or did it kind of happen naturally?
I mean, when I started recording it, I started off with the song Universe Point, so I think that's kind of how it just happened to become. But then I was also just trying to, from that creative writing, storytelling perspective, trying to make all these songs work together in some way where it didn't just seem like, even though I literally was just recording songs as I was going and seeing if they sounded good enough to be on an album to me, but make it sound like there was, like a chapter structure almost to it.
Kind of seems to me like with the universe, you definitely did get that kind of chapter feel to it. If you don't mind me asking, how many songs did you cut? And how many did you have to throw out just because they didn't fit?
I actually didn't have to, like, throw out any. I ran to like maybe a few situations where I started recording something and I didn't really know where I was going, so I got like 30 seconds of like really nice ambient music or something like that. So maybe there was like 3 like that. I know one song I ended up having to merge into another song because I realized if I didn't do that, I was never going to be able to play that one song ever again.
Oh no! So you didn't end up killing your darlings at all?
Yeah, no. I don't try and kill my darlings unless I absolutely have to.
Eric, I am so glad you got that reference. A lot of people don't. When I was in college, it wasn't kill your darlings. What was it? It was kill your babies.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a little darker spin on it right there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
same concept, really.
Eric, have you ever had to do that? In a situation, whether it was poetry or painting or even songwriting, that you've got this idea going and it's just not going to go anywhere? Tough question, I know.
It's a hard one to answer. I feel like I don't really give up on the songs or the thing I'm working on. They just sit around for a very long time before I touch them again.
Oh, all right. Touche. I've got that myself. I have photography and poetry and notebooks everywhere and anywhere, and I actually just went through and threw a bunch away because it's been probably about 20 years.
That's a pretty nice collection going on at that point. Nice.
Yeah, but it's not who I am anymore. So I can attest to that is what I'm getting at. You were King Garbage and now you're Eric James in the Revolution. So it's very interesting. Kind of the artist's journey that we're both on. Very cool, sir.
Indubitably.
I love it. You're so well versed in language. I love it.
Indubitably is the apex of my vocabulary.
Oh, whatever. Fabulous, Eric. Where are you hoping to take Eric James and the Revolution? Are you hoping to kind of keep it more DIY? Do you want to get on a label? Do you want to go on a tour? What are you looking forward to?
I am definitely focused on making the live experience more of a spectacle.
Okay.
I've been drawing, I just keep having this image in my head of seeing, old Lady Gaga YouTube videos of, her jamming out in a bar or something. Just, that whole stage presence and persona is already there, even though, they're not jumping from, the Pepsi Stadium during the Super Bowl, like that one time. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to make the live show something super enjoyable to see. Mm-hmm. I do want to do the tour thing. I'm trying my darndest to organize a DIY tour right now.
Yeah, and definitely coming off of COVID as well. I bet that's a little kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting right now with the new CDC guidelines and things are kind of starting to open back up again.
Right.
I just got my first Moderna shot.
Nice.
3 days ago.
Good for you.
It's exciting because it's a little exciting right now because everything's coming back to life, kind of.
Yeah, and you're not the only one to tell me that. I've interviewed quite a few other people, and they're very excited to kind of see where things go. I, for one, kind of hope they still keep doing the live streaming shows, because I don't know about you, but I love watching a show from the comfort of my living room and not having to fight people for the bathroom.
Nice. Yeah, no, we might differ on that one a little bit, but I definitely think the live streams aren't going anywhere for a while.
One can only hope. I got tired of fighting for the bathroom and trying to fight for the bar, and
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, when you put it like that, definitely, I don't miss that at all.
like, let me sit with my own drink in my PJs. And I'm all right with that one. But where are you hoping to go out on tour? Are you hoping to kind of start small and go around the Northland here? Or are you looking at more of a national?
Well, the real game plan right now, I have a few shows I've booked coming up through August, the beginning of August. I have a couple of shows lined up. I'm trying to get a few more. And then the real game plan is to move to Austin and try it there.
All right. Excellent. So why Austin? Why not New York or LA?
Well, I think Austin, I don't know if it's significantly smaller, but I feel like I just like the vibe of Austin. It is a few million people. It's still a pretty big city. It's like one of the music capitals of America, at least. I don't know about the world, but here it's like a really big music city.
Yes, Austin is, definitely. And I've also heard that what makes Austin unique is it's this little tiny, very liberal pocket in the state of Texas, so I think you're making a good lateral move there.
Yeah, my grandmother, she's only about an hour and a half away, so I'll have some family I can visit every once in a while.
There you go. Family connections. I was wondering about that. So warm weather for you all year round, right?
That's true, but now I'm thinking about leaving a little bit later just so it cools down a little bit. By the time I get there.
You'll get used to it.
I'm not a big fan of 110 degree temperatures. That's not my thing, really.
Oh, no?
No, not at all.
So basically what you're going to do is you'll winter down there and then come back here for the summer, right?
That's not a terrible idea. I should get into that sort of lifestyle right now.
I've interviewed other people and they've just told me that lifestyle's great because it's summer year round.
Oh, right, yeah. You never have to worry about putting on too many layers, and if you time it just right, it's always like room temperature wherever you go.
I love it. Well, I'll just sit up here and freeze in the winter and then be thinking of you in warm Texas.
Sounds like a game plan to me.
Awesome, Eric. Eric, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me and the wider world about Eric James and the Revolution and King Garbage as well. If somebody's interested in your artwork, whether that's poetry, painting, or your music, how can they get a hold of you?
Best way, you can email me, ericjamesrevolution@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can contact me through the website. ericjamesrevolution.com. What's the last one? Bandcamp is the new one. I got ejrevolution.bandcamp.com.
All right, fabulous, sir. Eric, thank you so much. Thank you. And have a wonderful day, sir.
Hey, you too, Mitch. Thank you.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
Something in my brain to better pass the time. We're walking on